contact locations.
Ski Patrol are requesting our assistance for this out-of-bound area. Avalanche, possibly 2 people in it. One person was on top of the debris. They were in voice contact with Ski Patrol. He's reporting his 2 friends are missing.
There was an avalanche in the southern backcountry of Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. We're probably in some pretty steep terrain with some cliff bands. And so we started rolling really fast.
Everybody ready? We're pushing it to try and get people out there safely. 30 minutes is ideal to dig somebody up. We need to haul ass.
They call it the shoulder season. Quiet times in spring and fall, in between the busy winter and summer deluge of tourists into Jackson Hole, Wyoming. It's a sleepy time, silent as a church on Monday, when there's only a trickle of visitors in town. Locals can still claim the rivers and trails for themselves. For Jackson residents like Jamie Yount, this is a time to downshift and enjoy a less hectic pace.
I live a normal life in the summertime, which is great. So I work like steady hours, I don't get unexpected phone calls, and I don't have to get up at 1 in the morning.
This time of year, Jamie gets the town's climbing wall all to himself.
It's nice, my favorite part of Jackson right here.
The climbing wall is where locals build muscle, stamina, and knowledge for choosing your routes wisely. Something Jamie has done since he climbed the Grand Teton as a kid.
Always enjoyed it, and it's a really challenging sport. Like being out in the mountains in the summertime and getting up high. So climbing's kind of a big part of the search and rescue, and that climbing background just rolls right into that.
This controlled space remains Jamie's retreat. The wall is a gravity-powered human chessboard where climbers can both relax and sharpen problem-solving skills.
So it's really nice because in the wintertime I'll work holidays, I'll work weekends, I'll work nights, I'll work mornings, I'll work whenever it snows.
In winter, Jamie does avalanche control work.
I'm an avalanche technician for the Wyoming Department of Transportation.
Which means Jamie is a bomb thrower.
Some sort of explosion is the best way to initiate an avalanche. That's really the industry standard, is some sort of explosive detonation. There's a lot of ways to achieve that. You can use a howitzer or artillery. You can use hand-delivered explosives. You could use a helicopter to deploy explosives. We use gas exploders that we detonate gas that makes an explosion.
Jamie once relied on his marksmanship with a howitzer. Now he triggers avalanches with the click of a mouse, using a device called an obelix. A helicopter places it on mountainside pedestals, and this thing that looks like a droid from Star Wars triggers controlled avalanches throughout the winter. Inside are tanks of hydrogen and oxygen. When combined, in short blasts, the gases combust, sending out a shock wave strong enough to safely initiate controlled slides.
So we're down here in Hoback Canyon. We're gonna do some avalanche reduction work here for the highway. It's rugged terrain, it's really steep, it's really inhospitable. Even if you go up there in the summer, it's full of loose rock, fallen trees. It's just awful terrain. It's terrible. It's north facing, it's dark, it's cold, it produces a lot of avalanche activity.
Jamie works with a helicopter to pluck the obelix off its mountaintop perch in Hoback Canyon. At the staging area nearby, Jamie and his crew reload it with full tanks of hydrogen and oxygen, always making sure there are no unwanted leaks.
10-5, we'll get her rigged. The smallest little leak, we'd lose all our gas, and then we'd have to go through this whole process again, because we're basically going to turn it on, and fly it up on the mountain and leave it for the winter. We monitor these, not quite daily, but pretty consistently through the winter, and so when we connect to it remotely, we can get our gas pressures.
So we're looking good.
She'll set down, and then I'll get the ship rigged. So we'll get the long line out and hook it up to our grabber, hook it back up, fly back up, ready to go.
Search and rescue pilot Nicole Ludwig flies the obelix back to its trigger zone at the top of Hoback Canyon. That's where she sets it down on the pedestal, which becomes ground zero for multiple blasts over the winter. She then makes another pass to double check it's secured and ready for firing.
We normally circle just to confirm that it's right behind the ridgeline of the Tetons. So we do need like a good weather day and somewhat calmer winds to actually be able to place the explosives where we need to place them.
Nicole confirms the obelix is ready, then flies away from the scene. Down on the highway, a crew closes the road while Jamie prepares to push the button and trigger the obelix remotely.
I've already logged in, I'm connected, and basically getting ready to push the button here and make a boom, and then we'll see what we get for results and get on with our day. Fire in the hole! Fire in the hole! This technology is perfect for the terrain. Bigger boom, bigger shockwave, better result. It makes the job a lot more efficient. You push the button and you get a big avalanche to the highway, and it's a lot of work that went into that one moment. And so it's exciting. Every winter is different. Every winter presents some sort of new challenge. You never know what you're going to get, so we gear up for every winter like it's going to be the worst one we've ever seen. And search and rescue, a big part of what we do is avalanche related.
The backcountry around Jackson is mostly uncontrolled. It's a huge zone of high consequences where avalanches can trigger in so many places. It's impossible to eliminate the danger. So Jackson Hole Mountain Resort clearly marks its exits. Inbounds, the ski area is like a climbing wall, a mostly safe simulation of the backcountry. But just out of bounds, in what is called the side country, danger looms. That's why Jackson Hole Ski Patrol works closely with search and rescue.
This here is Jackson Hole Mountain Resort, and gets hit pretty heavily with backcountry skiers getting avalanche, clipped out. So that's our hot spot. Backcountry is not always awesome. It definitely can be pretty punishing in the wrong circumstances. So going out of bounds at Jackson Hole, you definitely need to have a plan. You need to have a partner. You need to have the right equipment. You need to know where you're going.
The ski area is closely surrounded by the most demanding slopes in North America. It's where the best alpine athletes come to test themselves. There's Granite Canyon in the shadow of the Grand Teton, and there's Ralph's Slide, named for Ralph Toscano Jr., a tourist visiting from Oregon who was killed here in an avalanche in 2001.
Teton Ski Patrol are requesting our assistance for this out-of-bound area avalanche, possibly 2 people in it.
Now it appears history is repeating itself as search and rescue is called back to Ralph's Slide. This time, there's a survivor yelling for help.
One person was on top of the debris. They were in voice contact with Ski Patrol. He's reporting his 2 friends are missing. Ski Patrol are requesting our assistance for this out-of-bound area avalanche, possibly 2 people in it. One person was on top of the debris. They were in voice contact with Ski Patrol. He's reporting his 2 friends are missing.
The call comes in from just outside the boundaries of Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. A backcountry guide spots a man clinging to a tree. His 2 friends are buried in a debris field below. And as the skier who escaped the avalanche tries to slowly traverse down the slope, the guide who spotted the slide and others on scene rush to search for his buried friends. Back at the hangar, Jess King takes over as incident commander for this rapid response heli mission.
So I know so far that we've got the location.
The team is headed back to Ralph Slide, a rescue hot zone and scene of at least one fatal avalanche.
So we got a call from dispatch that there was an avalanche in the southern backcountry of Jackson Hole Mountain Resort. There were avalanche victims buried beneath the snow. And so we started rolling really fast. I was wondering if you have a GPS coordinate of where this guy is.
The plan is to fly in, provide medical assistance to anyone dug out of the avalanche debris by those already on scene, and evacuate the one known survivor. And John Weedy is the heli specialist assigned to the mission. Weedy is not only a veteran search and rescue volunteer, he's also an avalanche survivor, living to tell the tale of what it's like to be entombed in snow.
I guess having been buried before, I know how little time you have. I think I personally was out of air in about 3 minutes. When you start to hyperventilate or whatever, and you start to see colors and stuff, thinking, whoa, there's my air.
John carries the memory of his burial to every rescue like this, bringing an extra sense of urgency to the heli crew as it rolls out. But bad weather is moving in. John and the heli team head to Ralph Slide as quickly as possible to evacuate survivors. But the approaching storm may make it too dangerous to land near the rescue scene.
Helicopters like wind, but not too much wind, so we're concerned about the flying conditions.
It's a short 6-minute flight to the scene. Anyone buried could still be alive. The winds gusting around the rescue area are choppy, but manageable. So the heli sets down a quarter-mile downhill from where at least 2 skiers are reportedly buried. But there's also one known survivor who is now making his way toward the heli landing zone.
I do see that was a significant slide path and crown.
John heads for the one spotted survivor, while others who've been on scene since witnessing the avalanche rush to help.
Hurry up, over here, over here. Dig here, dig right here.
Three skiers skied in from the top of an infamous avalanche zone called Ralph Slide, and now 2 are buried. Thankfully, bystanders and the ski patrol swoop in to dig like mad and hope those caught in the slide are still alive.
Dig here, dig right here.
Jackson Hole Mountain Resort Ski Patrol is on the scene, and they're requesting assistance to find these persons and possibly evacuate.
Avalanche survivor John Weedy goes in search of the one skier who avoided the slide. Jess King relocates incident command to the base of the ski area and waits for more details from the field.
Avalanche forecast today warned people to not ski in steep wind-loaded terrain. I don't know exactly what shot they were in, but my guess is they were probably in some pretty steep terrain with some cliff bands. So pretty high risk given the avalanche conditions.
The heli team continues to monitor the increasingly sketchy flying conditions while it waits for John to locate the one known survivor.
Our weather is a little iffy, so there's a concern there. The ceiling, as we call it, seems to be a little low in terms of visibility getting into that particular canyon. I believe the winds are kind of funky in there as well. It's kind of a bowl-shaped area, so they're not consistent. A little bit of snow in the area also, and flat light, I think, as well. So a lot of different factors coming into this potential rescue.
On John's way uphill, he meets the one known survivor, and part of the rescue team on their way out. They've dug up one of the avalanche victims, who sadly did not make it.
I got skins on! You guys want me to tow? Get out, but it might be easiest just to come in.
Shovels and poles keep digging and probing into the avalanche debris, hopeful they can pull out a survivor. Back at the heli, John prepares to fly at least one person out. That is, if the winds don't pick up.
A lot of people aren't too familiar how to move around a ship, so it's nice to have a rescuer or a team member bring them back, get them in the ship properly. So that's my first contact, is as I take him from ski patrol and get him back so we can get him back to the parking lot.
The man just learned at least one of his friends is dead.
He's pretty shooken up. I think he's in a bit of shock and just trying to figure out what to do next.
John Weedy and the heli team must brave dangerous flying conditions to get an avalanche survivor off the mountain. John once survived an avalanche. Now he comforts the man as bad news from the scene comes in. Both his companions, who were caught in the slide, did not make it.
We sent in the helicopter to drop off some of our SAR volunteers with the hopes of being able to also transport the patients out. Unfortunately, 2 of the 3 died in the avalanche. The 3rd was able to save himself, but sadly the other 2 didn't make it.
He's pretty shooken up, and he's pretty amazed that he's alive, given the fact that his 2 friends have not made it through the incident. I think he's in a bit of shock. He was just looking for a handhold, I think, and getting somewhere safe. I've been through an incident similar to that in the past, and looking at the scene and what he went over and went through, and the fact that he just walked away from it, I'd want to contact with somebody just to sort of ground me a little bit. You know, we go through things afterwards if we've seen some bad stuff, but we don't typically train for how to deal with a survivor. I think it's just being a person and understanding that somebody needs a hand.
John hands off the survivor for a checkup by medical staff. There is nothing more search and rescue can do. 2 skiers lost their lives by venturing into avalanche country. Unfortunately, this is part of search and rescue's job. They must shake it off and be ready for the next rescue mission. Less than 2 weeks after losing 2 skiers just outside the ski area boundary, Jess assists volunteer Jamie Yount in the heli on a bombing mission. This time, it's about creating a safe place to hold the National Powder 8s competition.
For the past few weeks, we've been trying to get out and do some work with Jackson Hole Mountain Resort Ski Patrol to bomb the Powder 8 slope in preparation for the Powder 8s competition. The goal is to try and reduce the avalanche hazard to the skiers participating in the competition this weekend.
The National Powder 8s are done in Jackson Hole for many years, and because it's our 50th year anniversary, we're looking to bring back some of the old hype. It's in an area outside of the gates. It's a really neat venue. We can do 20-some teams doing the Powder 8 thing, the synchronized skiing, and but it's also in an area that doesn't see any avalanche reduction methods.
The venue for the Powder 8s is just one of many infamous avalanche zones just outside the ski area boundary.
It's a hard thing to say how to measure success, but we have an avalanche and count that as a failure.
Affirmative, target 0. Avalanche crest, target 4.
We work really closely with Ski Patrol to make sure that guests at Jackson Hole Mountain Resort know about the backcountry, the risks that are involved with entering that backcountry, but also how to call search and rescue if they need us.
But no one will need search and rescue today. The return of the Grand National Powder 8's competition to Jackson Hole Mountain Resort as part of its 50th anniversary is a reminder of how teamwork and awareness can keep everyone safe in the backcountry.